NASA sent humans to the moon using a computer weaker than a calculator. Locked, returning astronauts in quarantine like they carried alien diseases. And trained pilots in machines so dangerous they regularly crashed. And that's just the normal part. Today, we're looking at the strangest, riskiest, and most unbelievable things NASA did during the Apollo program. Things that would be completely illegal, unethical, or impossible today. By the end of this video, you'll understand why landing on the moon wasn't just an engineering miracle. It was controlled insanity. Because here's the thing most people don't realize. Apollo wasn't safe, it wasn't finished, and in many cases, it wasn't even fully tested. NASA was racing the Soviet Union under impossible political pressure. Failure didn't just mean embarrassment, it meant losing the Cold War. So NASA made a decision that shaped everything that followed. They would accept extreme risk and let human courage fill the gaps technology couldn't. And once you see what that led to, you'll never think about the moon landing the same way again. In the 1960s, spaceflight was still closer to experimentation than engineering. No one knew how the human body would react long-term in space, whether the moon was biologically safe, or if navigation systems would even work consistently. Yet NASA had a deadline. Before this decade is out. That single sentence forced engineers and astronauts into decisions that today would fail every safety review imaginable. Let's start with one of the strangest. When Apollo 11 returned from the moon, the astronauts weren't celebrated immediately. They were locked up. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins were placed in quarantine for 21 days. NASA genuinely believed the moon might contain unknown microorganisms, and that the astronauts could bring back something capable of wiping out life on Earth. They were sealed inside a mobile quarantine unit, transported like biohazards, and even spoke to the president through glass. Today, this sounds ridiculous, but at the time, it was considered responsible science. Now, here's where things get unsettling. The Apollo guidance computer had about 64 kilobytes of memory and a processor slower than a digital wristwatch. Yet this tiny computer was responsible for everything: navigating to the moon, landing humans, and getting them home. During Apollo 11's descent, the computer started throwing error alarms. In any modern mission, that would be an instant abort. Instead, Mission Control looked at the data and said something unbelievable. Proceed. Those alarms meant the computer was overloaded, but smart enough to prioritize critical tasks. That single decision to trust a failing computer decided the success of the first moon landing. Neil Armstrong didn't almost die on the moon. He almost died before going there. NASA trained astronauts using a flying machine that simulated lunar gravity by firing a jet engine downward. The vehicle was wildly unstable. Crashes were common. During one training session, Armstrong lost control. The machine began spinning uncontrollably. He ejected seconds before impact. The craft exploded. NASA's response? They kept him as commander of Apollo 11, because losing him would delay the mission. And delay was not an option. Once on the moon, astronauts discovered something unexpected. Moon dust was hostile. It stuck to everything, smelled like burnt gunpowder, and caused coughing, eye irritation, and sneezing. Apollo 17 astronauts called it lunar hay fever. And to reduce weight for liftoff, astronauts left things behind: equipment, trash, and 96 bags of human waste. Right now, there is literal human waste sitting on the moon. The first humans to visit another world also littered it. Then there's the flag. In footage, it appears to wave. Conspiracy theories exploded, but the truth is simpler and more human. NASA added a horizontal rod to keep the flag extended in a vacuum. When astronauts twisted the pole into the ground, the fabric moved and never settled. NASA knew people would misunderstand. But in the rush of history, they never made correcting the record a priority, and myths filled the silence. Here's the deeper truth. Apollo wasn't just about science. It was about political survival, national pride, and technological dominance. NASA accepted risks modern agencies never would. They flew untested hardware, trusted underpowered computers, and placed human lives at the edge of known physics. And it worked. Not because it was safe, but because it was bold. Apollo succeeded not just due to technology, but because humans were willing to bet everything on it. That's why Apollo feels so strange today. It wasn't just history being made. It was humanity gambling with the unknown and winning. And the most unsettling part? We've never taken risks like that again, which raises a question. Have we become safer? Or simply more afraid?